Personal highlight of the year was probably the last Dublin show. You had so many good fights. You had Rosie Sexton and Ash Daly. Amazing, the pair of them. You had McGregor and Hill. Same again. The atmosphere for that fight was like nothing. The only other thing I think that's ever touched it that I've been to live was probably Lee Murray and Anderson Silva, atmosphere-wise.
Another personal highlight for me has to be the show in Lebanon. After the announcements that Cage Warriors were going to be putting together so many shows in so many international destinations, to get it started was really special. The venue was really, really plush. It was in a wonderful hotel. It was in this crazy area of Lebanon, Beirut, which is steeped in history. A little bit nervous about going over there, if I'm honest, but when I was there, I was so glad to be there. I really wanted to do the very best job, get everything as tight as could be, and it really set up the rest of the year. In particular, February, where I think we did 3 shows in under 3 weeks. So, Lebanon, fantastic. Good to be away from home and do that kind of show with Cage Warriors. Thanks again to the crew for putting that together.
Liam James and Andoy was something truly special. I think James really, that whole saying of like brawler boxer and boxer brawler, I think Liam James really kind of took it to his man. Bilkeden as well, and Pendred was something. You don't get a measure of how big Pendred is until kind of you see him there. Do you know what I mean? Bilkeden swans up looking like a swimwear model, no elmo, as he does, and like you've got like Pendred's looking like basically like an Irish Kurt Angle, and you've got no idea of just how colossal that guy is. But what a fight that was, back and forth. Some great work, some good refereeing as well in that.
I mean, I know we discussed it earlier, but Dublin for me as an overall event, those 3 fights particularly, all put together, was just the biggest rush. I remember after each fight I was getting in to do the interviews and I couldn't catch my breath. I was sitting back down at the commentary table, just sitting there thinking, blimey, what's next? Because I couldn't quite believe each thing was happening. And I'm a little bit biased because a couple of those fights had a lot of really nice groundwork in, particularly Aisling Daly, Rosie Sexton. And any time I get to talk a lot about what's happening on the ground, I'm a real happy camper. So Dublin especially, those 3 fights, the crowd participation and the atmosphere really was what made the most memorable date for me in Cage Warriors 2012.
You know, as a journalist, being able to interview Jim Ehlers and Artem Lobov up in the Citadel in Jordan and the Roman Colosseum, you know, we're so used to doing interviews in front of press banners or in hotel rooms and in press conferences, but being able to go into a Roman Citadel and a Colosseum, which has got so much history and just looks so beautiful and so incredible, and being able to interview guys there, and it's just something you don't do every day, and I'm really grateful that I got those opportunities to do that with Cage Warriors this year.
To be honest, I think I would have to go back to. Probably have to go back to the Wilson Hayes and Owen Roddy fight. As I said, being in there sometimes it's an extra privilege and an extra honour when you get to be so close to 2 martial artists doing their thing. Wherever we go with Cage Warriors and going to all the new countries and all the new territories, I hold that dear. The same as I do with working with other shows and getting to travel. But I think a standout moment would definitely be that fight for me.
Well, as we spoke about before, Cage Warriors 10 years now. All the early history of all the greats that happened. But I think the last couple of years or so, since Graham's taken over, essentially, the developments are massive. There's no one else can touch it in Europe, anywhere really. There's so many great fighters, great matches, indeed fantastic matchmaking. The whole team now, I think everyone on the team gels. I think that helps. Everyone works well together. But in terms of what Cage Warriors have achieved and what they're about to achieve, I think no one can touch it. So again, good luck to it and long may it be so.
there's been so many. I think the whole year has just been, it was always going to be a landmark year for Cage Warriors, it being the 10th year and embarking on a really ambitious schedule, international events. We've ended up doing 12 shows, 9 countries. We've had over 100 bouts, professional bouts. We've had fighters from 30 different nations. Just getting to see so many talented guys putting it on the line and showcasing their skills for our benefit and for our entertainment. And it's hard to pick out one moment, but I guess if I had to pick one, it'd be Jay Furness, stepping up on late notice. Loved his attitude, always brings his gum shield wherever he goes, just in case. I mean, you gotta love that, so that probably stands out for me, yeah.
I don't know, there's been loads of moments. I never thought this would happen. Cage Warriors has been just a massive part of my life for so long now, and there's been a lot of ups and there's been a lot of downs, and I really love this brand. I love the history. I love everything about it. It's me. It feels a part of me. I don't know what else I have really in my life, maybe apart from family and that, apart from it, and it's just amazing. I've just looked like, I think we've got such a great base now to build on. I just want it to get, we've got great fighters on our roster. We've got great people working for us. It's like a family. I feel I belong, and I just, the fact that we're alive and kicking, and there's been so many amazing things happen this year. I just want to get cracking and move on and keep putting on good fights and keep trying to help these guys that are working harder and harder. These young kids, man, they're coming through, and I want to work with the rest of the guys here and put on the platform and just put on good fights. Try and do something good for the sport. That's what I want to do. There's been, as for actual highlights, you only have to look on our videos, highlight videos. You can see them there from fans in Jordan to some great moments, great fights, just raw emotion. That's my highlight.